Yo, 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 yo. Starting right back up. Let's get it, man. Sorry, this game is pretty cool.
One melody is like me out here alone. I can't really live like this. I have a feeling they use these music boxes to fall asleep. They kept themselves company with music. Two voices is like me and my mom. We can survive, but eventually you need more. Three voices as complex as life is supposed to be. I could listen forever. Looks like they made it out of here. But what is this group? In the empty places, I found companionship in the tapes I recorded before leaving home. The elder told me the story of her life. I listened back to it, ready to note down anything that seemed important.
And there ain't shit. No, it's fine.
Let's set the scene for the listener, whoever that might be. This is the elder speaking. We're sitting in the plaza, saying goodbye to a dear soul. We're here to see if there's anything useful in my mind that could help you on your trip. A century's worth of memories, dreams, fantasies, visions. Like a big, old, haunted library. When I die, this library will burn down. But which book should we check out first? I don't have all the answers. But I do feel the story of my life could help you understand what kind of world is out there. It's okay not to understand everything right away. The moment may pass before you've gotten a firm hold on it. But as long as you're there to witness it, to take it down in your journal, you and others to come will someday take the time to make sense of it all. Francis Cale, if you must know. You can call me Frank, or Elder, or the Elder, or Elder Frank. You know, whatever. I don't care. I was born on the ocean. My mother and father worked on a cruise ship. The short-lived but glorious watery republics. Floating cities. Most won their independence by the time I was born. How can I describe them? They were a jewel of the golden season. Pleasure boats with a radical political program. How nice. The golden age was a time of flags, logos, mottos, mastheads. My mom taught me to read them. She was the ship's philosopher. My dad was a recycling engineer. Recycling on the ship was a matter of life and death. We had to get the most out of every object and watt of energy. My grandparents played with the past. They changed it like we change our wardrobe. So it was a different answer every time. But they often said we were exiles of some kind. Exiled royalty from a secret lineage. Blood that glows in the dark. Or we're exiled from the mouth of some great leviathan. When they were older, they just said, we're from here. We're from right now. I loved the way the ship would tilt and roll with the waves, especially as I fell asleep. It was so comforting. Picture me as a kid in bed, feeling the swaying of the ship. It was like being rocked to sleep as a baby. I loved exploring the ship too. Wandering through the suites, the swimming pool. There were 2 dance halls, a large, elegant one and another one in the basement. A lot of my firsts were down there. My first dance, my first kiss, and so forth.
Really? That's goddamn
Our
disgusting.
ship was taken over in the early days of the war. That was the end of the watery republics. I heard the dance hall in the basement became a weapons
Friendship.
cache. Took me half my life to say goodbye to the world I knew in my youth. Imagine me and my parents and everyone I knew being escorted off the ship by a company of soldiers. And I'm thinking, I hope they don't make a mess of my room. I was embarrassed by the younger kids who were crying their eyes out. But they knew, I guess. Yes, the start of the war was a turning of seasons, and we had been warned this season was going to end. Oh, but we didn't understand the warning. You see, One night, along a coastline, we saw beautiful lights shimmering above the water. Later, we found out this was an ancient warning system. It hadn't been used in so long, we didn't know what it meant. We just thought, well, ain't that pretty? We tried to stick together and camped out on the coast of the prismatic grounds. She saw the meaning of things shifting. It disturbed her greatly. He saw war as a process of turning life, resources, energy, the potential energy in every human soul into waste, turning human eyes and hands that could paint a landscape into a field of ashes. Are you sure you want me to keep going? The story gets darker from here on. Okay, so conditions in the camp were getting worse. My mom got lost in thought for long periods of time. She'd be completely still for hours, days even. We realized she caught, well, now we call it time misperception disorder. It's when you lose your ability to tell how much time is passing. A minute can feel like an hour. A day can pass in 10 seconds. We don't know exactly. Our consciousness is delicate. There are minerals and sounds that can adjust it. Dr. Fumio's greatest fear was that someone would use this as a weapon. We heard about a traveling doctor who could cure these kinds of diseases. I decided to go find him. I found out his name was Dr. Fumio, and he traveled with his son Lucio. People talked about him like he was a god. I described my mom's condition to Dr. Fumio. He said there was no cure yet, but there was a village high in the mountains. He thought it was high enough he'd have a better chance at treatment. Lower places are more dangerous. Valleys are the worst. He invited me to join them in going to the village. But I wanted to go back and get my parents and bring them with me. I packed my things and got ready to leave the next morning. That night, my mom came to me in a dream. She was standing in a field of flowers. I'd grown since I last saw her. We were the same height. She pressed a finger hard into my palm. She taught me well. I knew the meaning of the gesture. I knew no matter what I did, I'd never see my parents again. In the morning, I told Dr. Fumio I would follow him to Karo village. The next few weeks were very physically tiring, hiking, climbing. And when we found the village, building, planting, cleaning, Fumio brought sick people from all over the world, and they got better. The treatments worked. Everyone was healing. So why couldn't I? One day, we got word the war was over. We never found out how it ended. It was like peace just swept over the earth in a split
Never
second.
found out. What the fuck? Y'all niggas are hiding up here and shit. Scary ass niggas.
There was a party in the plaza to celebrate the end of the war, but I couldn't bring myself to go. Yes, it was over, but it had taken my home, my family. That night, as I was falling asleep, I felt the bed tilt and sway gently, as if it was being tossed on the waves of the ocean, as if I was back in my bedroom on the ship, as if I was back in my mother's arms, being rocked gently to sleep. I knew I was finally home, and nothing could hurt me.
I imagined coming upon a place as hidden and singular as my own village. Eventually, I found myself circling a valley, looking for a way in.
You just said valleys are dangerous. Fuck. I'm about to get my ass fucked up.
This valley is asking people for a visit. I should oblige it.
Oh. The valley. One second.
I'm not the first to do this, just the first in a long time.
Is that a strotopop? Yeah, what are they called? What is it? I love old gear like that. It's getting more and more rare. I had a camera, but it broke. Not that interesting of a story, I guess. What are you doing here? The whole thing, huh? You're young. You got time. What kind of stuff are you recording? Oh yeah, civilization they call it. The valley would be a good place to use those tools. Too bad it's closed down. Let me finish up here, huh?
I'll think about what kind of visitor I want to be.
Hey.
Weak ass little ass.
This was like a
nigga,
second
man.
home for a while.
Come on, dog.
That was fun earlier when you showed up. And I was carrying the cardboard man. You were like, who are these guys? I've been pretty bored here. You know, the valley's gonna be flooded soon. That's why nobody can go in there. The dam is falling apart. It's too old. There's nobody left who knows how to repair it. We're taking it down so we'll know when it'll collapse. It gives us time to evacuate everyone. Greyhounds. We're a community organization. We do all kinds of fun stuff. Health clinics, mine sweeping, daycare, evacuations, weddings. We're new. It was supposed to be because we're helpful yet neutral. We took a vote and decided to change the name, though. We want something more friendly sounding. I'm excited to find out what it will be. We're trying to get new things going. But it's hard. The past really has a tight grip on people. Doesn't feel like a fair fight. So we're trying to... Well... Anyway. It's funny. I stood guard here for a week. And I've only seen greyhounds like myself. And valley people on their way out. But now I see you, and you're like a... new element or something. I've never met anyone doing what you're doing. And we greyhounds gotta support new things. So... I'm not supposed to let anyone in. How can I? Jeez. I think you should go down into the valley and take a look. Gotta try something here. Dang it. I was trying to wink. Well, you get the idea. Go on and put that old gear to use. You can take my map of the valley, too. I don't need it anymore. I'll be down to pick everyone up around midnight. See you then.
I met a greyhound. He let me into the valley. I think he wanted me to record what the greyhounds were up to. And he gave me a map. The assembly point seemed like a good place to start. I wonder what he expects me to discover in the valley. It seems like I'll have to wait for night to enter the shrine.
I honestly think I'm gonna end it right here. Just cause I gotta leave right now too. I gotta go to work, but yeah, I'm gonna end this bitch right here. Just get it next time. Next episode's gonna be fun. I'm gonna go into this valley. Should be pretty interesting. Everybody like the video. Please subscribe and take care. Bye-bye.